I'm here with Jim Coulter, a Macomb area author who has appeared at our Burlington Public Library Sterling Lord Writers and Readers Festival in the past. So some folks may remember him from the Sterling Lord Festival. And Jim is a former instructor at Western Illinois University, and he is now retired, so he has plenty of time to write some great fiction, like the book we're talking about today, which is called Rhymes with Fool. Jim, can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yes, thank you. Rhymes with Fool is a detective, a private eye murder mystery. It's set in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Um, I chose Milwaukee because I wanted to write an urban private eye mystery. And Milwaukee is the major urban area of the United States I know best. And that's because my wife is from Milwaukee and still has family there. And so we're back and forth a lot.
Great town.
My detective is named Barry Poole. And when I wrote it, I wanted to do some different things with the detective mystery genre. I've read a lot of detective mysteries and I really enjoy them a lot. Some are good, some are bad, but there's kind of a pattern with the traditional male detective that I wanted to break away from. Usually he is an ex-cop, he's divorced, he hits the bottle pretty hard, and I just didn't want to go in that direction. I'm fine when I read those, but I just wanted to do something that I thought was kind of fresh and new. So
Well,
I
it sounds
made
like you succeeded. Some of the reviews I've read of Rhymes with Fool talk about your protagonist being a hard-boiled detective with a contemporary twist.
Yes. I like to think I've succeeded, and I've seen some of those reviews that suggest that I might have. So what I did was I made him, instead of a former cop, I made him a former investigative journalist.
Now that's something you know a little bit about too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, I have a journalism degree in addition to my English degree, and I have worked in journalism on and off. I've done some publishing. I've done some publishing and op-eds in some major newspapers. But anyway, I wanted to make him a journalist, a former investigative journalist. I thought that would set him up pretty well for being a private investigator, and it worked for me. And he's not married, and unlike the typical private eye, he he goes into the trade not knowing a thing about guns. He's not a tough guy, as it comes out in the novel. So those were just some ways that I wanted to take a different approach, what I consider to be a fresh approach. If it works for readers, terrific. If it doesn't, that's fine. You know, I realize readers have their tastes, and that doesn't mean that I dismiss the traditional private eye. I still enjoy reading that stuff. Well, anyway, he's based in Milwaukee, and he's approached by a guy who's running for the U.S. Senate, whose son has gone missing, and the guy wants to hire Barry Poole to find his missing son. His son is a college student who's kind of gone off the rails in some ways. Well, his Barry Poole's search for the young guy. Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. So Jim, can you tell me, how did your local library help you in this project, in writing the book Rhymes with Fool?
Actually, I didn't use my library as a research resource because the book isn't one that needed to be researched. There were no technical details or anything that I needed to look up. I did use my library as an alternate writing space. It's a very congenial space, and I enjoy spending time there. And so I would, if I wanted to get out of away from my usual writing desk, I would sometimes go to the library.
Terrific.
I have to say they were very supportive in terms of buying copies of the book, and they bought 3 copies, I think. And um,
Terrific. That's awesome.
and,
And that kind of
and
leads
and
me to
there's
my next question, which is where can our audience find your book, Rhymes with Fool?
it's on Amazon and it's on Barnes and Noble. You can order it through those. I'm very happy to hear from you that the bookstore in Burlington will be ordering some copies. And I would encourage people to support their local bookstore, their local independent bookstore. Um, I realize that Amazon is kind of the beast in the room, you might say, that, bookstores are having to compete with, but it is there.
Well, we
And it's,
certainly do like to support our independent bookstore here in Burlington. And Burlington by the Book will have copies of Jim Coulter's Rhymes with Fool available for purchase. And the Burlington Public Library will soon have at least one copy that you can check out here at the library. And I assume that your library in Macomb also has copies available for checkout.
yes, they do. Would you like me to show the book now?
Sure, let's see it.
This is it. This is Rhymes with Fool.
That's an awesome looking cover. Did you design that cover too?
No, it was designed by the publisher. The publisher
Oh, sure.
is called Peasantry Press in Winnipeg, and the
Okay.
guy who runs that is also a graphic designer.
I
So he did the
see.
work on the cover, and there is a sequel coming out sometime.
Oh,
But
yes, the sequel.
yes, the same publisher has agreed to publish a sequel. And it's not just a second in the Barry Poole series, it's an actual sequel to the action in Rhymes with Fool. Um, but I don't have a contract yet. They have committed to publishing it, and they followed up on that commitment with assurances that they will. But I think they're up against what everybody is up against now with
Sure,
this pandemic, and I think they're kind of in tough times as far as personnel and that kind of thing. So
sure.
I'm just waiting to hear on a publication date. I hope and trust that it will be out next year sometime.
Well,
It's called,
congratulations, Jim, on the
thank you,
publication of Rhymes with Fool as well as the sequel. And we'll
thank
be
you.
keeping an eye out for that. And thank you so much for joining us here today on some good library news. Back to you now, Steph.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much, Jim, for coming and going through all these machinations to join me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm going to read your book just as soon as we get it in.
Terrific. I hope you enjoy it.
I'm sure I will. I'm looking forward to it.
And thank you for your support and for helping get the word up.
Oh, you're very welcome. Have a
Okay.
great day.
You too. Bye.